trouble. I turn on the other car, it says no, you haven't used me for long. Anyways, so you came to me and you are asking for that. I was about to fix the thing. So when I'm settled, now you can ask me what do you want. But that was inappropriate time. Anyway, without further delays, uh, see you. Like, it's not good. It's COVID time. I know we all are affected. We all are suffering. But I'm here to talk about things which we have done way back. And my job is just to take you through the journey on a fast track, because I presume people know about things, so there is no any specific thing which is required. Now, what are you looking at on the screen? Yeah, a swimmer. Somebody is swimming. So when you swim, what happens to your body? It's not a special answer. When you swim, well, you can see it. What is happening to his body? Can you speak loud? Moving his muscle without moving his joints. So he's moving all the joints which are supposed to be used during the section. So there's a lot of movements. So those people who are involved in activities, and activities are more than a normal routine. How many of you sitting here spend time in swimming? May I know? The number may be, it depends. But normal practice, there is a less number of people. How many of you this morning or this evening will be going for some playing soccer or any such thing? The number will be low. So those people who are using their joints a lot, who are involved in excessive movements for their performances, they are more susceptible for developing problems. More you use, there will be wear and tear. And now this wear and tear, there are two kind of wear and tears. A normal wear and tear, and second is something which is after excess activity, there are certain problems. And then overuse may lead to some kind of issues with the joints, and joints are filled of lube and all other activities. It's a mechanical work. So with this perspective, let's start the ball rolling. So today I'll be giving you a brief overview of the joints again, because this MSI block primarily more, I can see if I look through the sketch sheet, your schedule, it shows to me more things are connected to sports and sport related issues, which are where we are bothered for our MSK related structures. So now these are my objectives. You can read them through. Now, what's a joint? What is a joint? I can see the boys are only speaking, girls are busy in some activity, maybe some. Is there any exam nearby? When? So that's why people are just doing that. So guys, why you are bothered to come even? Ask Muntasir, he could give you attendance and that's it. If you are sitting here, use that time. Answer me, what is a joint? What is a joint? Yes. Huh? Articulation of the bones only. A place, union, articulation between two or more bones or cartilaginous structures. So you have to be specific for that. And then it can be between bone and bone, bone and cartilage, cartilage and cartilage. So these are the different things. And the functions, we are well aware of them, for movement, for stability, for these are the functions which are associated with the joints. Why we need them? So basically the same what I said before, but this is a MR image which is more highlighted. And now terminologies. These terminologies will be used a lot here. And what are these terminologies? Arthrology, kinesiology, arthritis, osteomyelitis, fracture, dislocations. I don't see any of the term needs any further explanation. Is there any explanation required here? So now, when we look at the joints, we can classify them. We have three major variants of the joints: a fibrous joint, a cartilaginous joint, and a synovial joint. Fibrous joints are the one where we have no movement. Cartilaginous type of joints are those where we have slight movement, and synovial joints are the one where we have ample of movement. So, on the basis of their movements, this is one way of categorizing. Second, on the basis of the structural element which they have. My fibrous joint are predominantly having fibrous material a lot. My cartilaginous joint have cartilages, and these cartilages, because I have utility of two cartilages here, so we can further subclassify them into primary and secondary on the basis of one have the hyaline cartilage, another one have the fibrocartilage. Then the last variant is the synovial joint. Why they are called synovial joint? Because they have synovial membrane, synovial fluid, and that's the main stake player in making these joints. So this is another way of classifying. Third way of classifying the joints, we can classify them on the basis of functionality. There are few joints, there we can produce movements in one direction. They are called monoaxial or uniaxial. And then there is another term, biaxial and multi-axial. So there are various ways of looking at joints with different need bases. So these are the broad classification which I've said about. Is there any ambiguity with this slide? Okay, so now I'm showing you what on this side you're looking at all the examples of my fibrous joint. It is further subdivided into three subtypes, and these are suture, gymphosis, and syndesmosis. So these are the examples of my fibrous joints. And on the other hand, you're looking at the cartilaginous joints. And then we have primary and secondary. So you can see that this is the primary one and this is the secondary one. You know the location, you know the bones, and you are familiarized because now you are senior class. Now, when we try to understand about the joints, we are bothered, we are connected with the axis, which axis this movement occurs. My same joint, shoulder joint, if I'm using this joint in sagittal plane, I will bring what movement at the shoulder joint? The movements are flexion and extension. If I'm using this joint in the coronal or the frontal plane, I can bring what? Abduction and adduction movements. And if I use the same joint in the transverse plane, and then I can get horizontal plane, I can get lateral and medial rotations. So same joint, but when we change the axis, the pattern of the movement will change, and we can reproduce something which we were not able to make before. Are we clear? Okay, so now without further delays, I'm talking about the synovial joint. So primarily it has certain characteristics, and the characteristics are, for any joint there should be bony or cartilaginous surfaces, but what is the key factor there is they should be designed to meet each other. We use the term they should be congruent to each other. In other words, they should be made for each other, and they should be lined by a hyaline type of cartilage. If we are talking synovial joint, a synovial joint who is not lined by hyaline cartilage is not called a classical synovial joint. If we change this cartilage, then this joint may be a modified or blah 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 things, but it will not be called as a synovial joint. And then we must have a fibrous joint capsule, which is lined by a membrane called synovial membrane. It liberates synovial fluid, and then this joint should be supported, covered, reinforced by the ligaments and acted over by muscles. So if a joint fulfill all these criteria, then that joint is a subject to be called as a synovial joint. If any of these things is missing, we may not be able to call this joint as a synovial joint. We'll name it differently. So these are few major characteristics. So I wrote in my slide there are three major characteristic points, and they have been mentioned to you. And these points, when you talk of synovial, if all these criteria have been fulfilled, then this joint is being subject to be said as a synovial joint. Now, quickly recap: two bones, look at them. They are designed to meet each other. This is what called congruency. They are congruent to each other. Then you can see that they are lined by a cartilage. A hyaline cartilage is there. And then what do we have? Periosteum was covering everything. Now this outer structure is my fibrous joint capsule. And this blue thing is the synovial membrane, which has to line internally. And that is one of the integral part. If you don't have synovial membrane, we will not be having synovial fluid. Will not be having synovial fluid, the joint will be moving in a dry. Think of your car. If you don't put the engine oil, the lube, what will happen to your car? Tell me. Now everybody drives a car. So it's not only a question for boys. If you don't put lube, if you don't put oil, I'm not saying gas. If you don't put oil in your car, what will happen? Are you a girl? Then why you're saying? Let them speak. Yes, guys. So there is no girl sitting here? Nobody like to answer? Guys, I'm waiting. My question is, if you don't put oil, lube in the engine, what will happen? You don't, either you don't know or you don't want to say. What is that? You don't know. So say it, you don't know. So now someone was talking from this side. Engine is not going to run. What will happen? Engine will freeze. Then it's a big disaster. So if my joint don't have the lube, then with each movement there might be a friction, there might be distortion, there might be so many problems. So we need to fill this joint, and that has been liberated. You can see that this synovial fluid is been filling up this joint cavity, and that's one of the major need of a synovial joint. Look, this fluid is not in liters. This fluid is very little quantity, very small quantity. And then we have in some of my joints, not all of them, where I have more weight bearing, let's say knee joint, there has been provided an intra-articular disc, and this disc is serving the purpose of weight absorption. We do a lot. When you play soccer or basketball or any other game, you are using a lot of your knee joint, ankle joint, and shoulder joint. Mostly, there are four joints which are very commonly used in your sports activity, and you should be good with your shoulder, your wrist, then your knee, and then your ankle. These are priority number one. And then the other joints are in category number two. It depends on what type of sports you are involved in. But we need to good, and every joint is being controlled by muscles, a group of muscles. Remember, we need all categories of muscle. If the only extensors are working and flexors are not there, the movements will not be stabilized. So we need tension across the side. Then each joint has arteries and nerves. Any nerve who crosses a joint must supply that joint. Arteries who are going close by, they are also supplying there through the nutrient branches. Guys, any questions so far? Anything which is not clear? So now this is outermost structure is the skin, and then we may need a bursa. Now, broadly, my synovial joints are multi-axial. They are like most of my body joints are very movable joints, and a big category fall under the synovial joints. And these synovial joints, on the basis of, I said to you, there are uniaxial, biaxial, and multi-axial type of movements and structural issues. So we classify them further, the synovial joints, and they are according to the location. So let's go through quickly from each of the type. Now this is an example of, what are you looking at? Can you tell me? What happened to you? Nobody's talking. Are you fasting? Or you're not interested? Come on, can you turn on the light? I think there is some serious issue. Thank you. Guys, if you don't want to respond to me, I can finish it here. I have no problem to give my speech. This is why you're here. Otherwise, you can be sitting at home. If you're not interested in talking, then what's the use of explaining all? No answer? No answer? I think I should end here. I don't need to continue. Some problem? Say it if there is any problem. No, first tell me why people are not talking. What something went wrong? COVID never manifested that way, that it takes the speech from the people. Yes, it's a plain look. There is one thing you don't know about something. That's okay, acceptable. But coming up with a mode that I don't want to talk in a class, then why you're in a class? So if you are here, you should be communicating. If you don't want to communicate, I can leave this lecture here. You can watch it with your convenience. Why you want my voiceover? You are adults now. So it's a plain type of synovial joint. So the movements where we can find this joint within my carpal bones. And carpal bones we all know. The another set of plain bones where we have plain joints are the tarsal bones. Then the ball and socket type of joints, and where we can find these joints, we'll find them shoulder, hip. So these are the location where we can find ball and socket type of joints. And these are the different images which supports that activity. And there you are looking at different images which has been taken from the shoulder joint, a real one, an MR, and a mechanical picture. And that explain how the ball and socket are being made at this place. Then condylar type of joint, ellipsoid, where we can find them at the wrist. And you can see the surfaces, they are like condyles, and the examples are at the wrist joint. Saddle. Thank you. So saddle is a joint which is formed where? At the base of your first carpometacarpal joint. Like you're riding on a saddle on the back of a horse. And these are biaxial type of joints. And saddle, you can see that. And this is the location for the saddle type of joint. Hinge. We all know what is a hinge. Elbow. Thank you. And then these are the different pictures which supports my hinge joint. Pivot. Proximal radioulnar. And what about distal radioulnar? Fibrous. We said in the beginning, fibrous joints are the joints where we don't have any movement, like sutures, like gomphosis, your tooth. Have you ever seen your tooth wiggling? Have you ever seen your skull bones moving? So primarily your proximal radioulnar joint. Now let's put few words for livers. What is your idea about liver? What is a liver? To lift things. So we have different classes of liver. And the best example is this seesaw. I'm not taking into the details of that. You will be learning it yourself. We have first class, second class, and third class livers. And these are being shown in this image. And this is how they've been used. We have various examples. Like you're doing like this is you're using a first class liver. Your skull is being placed between, what joint was there? What was the joint here?
Sutures.
Sutures. In your neck, you're moving on sutures.
And the skull.
On the skull, you only have sutures. A joint between your first vertebrae and your base of the skull. No.
Is it pivot?
Really? That is between your first and second vertebrae. That is pivot. The joint which tells you say no or yes. No is pivot, and yes is you're moving your occipits on the condyles of your first vertebrae. First vertebrae is what? Atlas or axis? So atlanto-occipital joint. So there are so many examples, I don't want to go in their details. So now in summary, we can go through the different joints of the body and we can classify them, and these are the details which are connected to that. Now why this lecture was inserted? The reason for this lecture to be here, because you're starting your this MSI thing, and there will be talking a lot about your sports related injuries, and you should have some idea. You should not be sitting blank. So these lectures are part of the vertical integration within the curriculum. That's why these lectures are there. Otherwise, there's no new infos. Just give you a recap. If you open up any standard textbook of surgery, of medicine, or any other specialty, it always starts maybe few pages for structure, function, and then little bit of pathophysiology, and then the whole disease process. So this is how everything is there. So that's why this lecture was being placed, and the purpose of this lecture is just to give you a quick recap that how and what joint is doing and what is happening at this place. Any issue? So this is the summary what I have talked about so far, and we have said everything. Thank you very much. Any question? I don't think, these review lectures usually they are not connected with the number of questions. And I'm sure, actually I designed an activity, but then I thought why to bother you at the early morning time. I prepared a case, but fine, you will be learning with the time. And today I was surprised at what happened to you guys. Nobody was interested in talking. May I know what was the reason? So first day after exam. So you should be more fresh. One more day? Really? I don't think so. You need a break of 1 week to get back. Guys, one thing is missing in us, that is human touch. And trust me, now in new med schools, they are bringing 7-year curriculum. And the basis of the reasons behind are that the doctors which has been made, they are missing human touch. They just treat their patient as a subject. They call them a subject. Patients are not subject. They are mass of protoplasm which are connected with the disease. And all of us fall in that category. So now the person who came to me, she wanted this. Come and take it.